Today I did a little homework calling the company Pods, and they are the ones who moved us all the way from Ohio to Florida. We had a really good experience with them 7 years ago when we moved. And the reason that we liked them was because they drop off this pod. It's a shipping container, and you have all the time you want. You actually have a month to fill it up on your own time and get it shipped down to wherever you're going. In our case, it was Southwest Florida. So we had it for about a week on our property. We slowly filled it up with our belongings, and they moved it down. And it was nice because I know you can hire movers and you've got these big semis, but your items are with other people's items, so they can kind of go through your stuff if they wanted to. Not that they do, but I liked how we were able to put our stuff in the pod, put a lock, our own lock. Nobody was going to go in it. It's also insured, so if something happens to the pod, that you're insured up to a certain amount. I don't remember what it was back then, but I'll tell you what I learned today when I called again, because it's been 7 years, so who knows about the price. But I think I paid about $2,500, and that was wheeling and dealing 7 years ago. I called today to find out how much it would cost to store our belongings in a pod in a climate-controlled area, because down here in Florida, I don't want my pictures melting. That's the one thing I really care about. I don't want anything happening to them. So I called and I said, I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to need your service, but so they need to know exactly, because prices will change. So he just gave me a rough idea as if I were to move in a few months from now. So our plan is to go to Europe first, and then when we're done doing whatever traveling we want in that area, come back to this country and probably go to California. So I asked them how much it would cost to store to the closest pod storage place, and that would be in Tampa. And thankfully it wasn't more than I thought. It was $194 per month. So I don't think it's too bad. Yeah, it's not cheap, but where else am I going to put it and feel safe with our belongings, locked up? And sure, it's cheaper if you just stick it in a garage, but from there, that pod needs to go across the country all the way to California, so from Florida to California. Now, so he was just rattling off numbers. I'm trying to write down what he's saying. He's talking too fast, but a very nice gentleman. And I thought he said something about $10,000. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just gonna have to leave my pictures behind somewhere. $10,000. But what he was saying was that we are insured up to $10,000, on our belongings in case something happens. So I was like, oh my God, okay, so how much is it? And he said it would be approximately, depending on when, what month we moved, the exact zip code, all those little details, but approximately $2,900. Now that's not too bad, because I paid about $2,500 from Ohio to Florida 7 years ago. That was a while ago, so I thought it was going to be, I don't know, like $4,000 or $5,000. So I was so happy that it wasn't a lot more. And if we were to have it shipped, say in January or February, he said it's actually less expensive because less people are shipping their items across the country if you're moving to another state. He says it gets busy after tax time because people are waiting to get money so they can move. Definitely summer's busy, and right before school starts, because people are trying to get to their new homes before school starts. So it's probably a good thing to know if you want to moving in January or February, except for those of you who are up in the north. It's very cold and icy, so maybe you want to pay the extra so you don't have to move during those times. But since we're in Florida, planning on going to Southern California, I'm not too worried about the weather as far as that goes, so I'll have to keep that in mind when shipping across the country, because that might save us some more. And I did check the coupon code site where you can get discounts on just about anything and everything, retailmenot.com. I don't know if any of you ever used it or something similar, but I also noticed there was a 15% off coupon code. So I'm sure there'll be coupon codes in the future. So 15% off of almost $3,000 is a lot of money. Now, if you're just going to store something so you could travel and come back to the same location, you can get, there's 3 different sizes that you can get. If you're shipping your pod across the country, there's really only 2 pod sizes that are available. Let me tell you what they are. The first one is 8 by 8 by 16. That's the one we actually used from Ohio to Florida. It's for 3 to 4 bedrooms, and it was plenty big. We had it stacked and filled, and when we moved here, we had too much stuff to fit into a 1,300 square foot apartment. So we had to get rid of more stuff. So we definitely know we cannot fill this pod up, because wherever we go, it won't be any larger than 1,300 square feet. Most likely maybe even 1,100, 1,200 square feet, because California is very expensive, as some of you know, and we're not looking to spend any more money than we have to. The other small pod that they do ship across the country is small size, and that's 8 by 7 by 7, 8 high. And that's not much bigger than a walk-in closet, I think. I did not get the price on the small one because we have a few more things than just pictures. So I got the price for the larger one, and that was the $2,900. So it's good to know, though, because I could take more, if I want to, and not be worried. And then I have an idea, since I did this once before, how much can fit into this pod. And we are not taking hardly anything. It'll be half of what we brought from up there to down here. So that's what I found out today. Hopefully it'll help you a little bit if you are traveling. I know there's other companies like Pack Rat, and there's, other ones, but I remember I called a couple of other companies, and I didn't feel like they were professional, or I didn't feel like they were reliable. Maybe they were, but they didn't seem to know what they were saying on the phone. And I felt uncomfortable. And being that I had such a great experience with pods the first time, we're definitely going to go with them again. I wish they were my sponsor, but they're not. So this is not sponsored. This is just from my own experience. And I do recommend them. So I'll be able to sleep better at night knowing what I'm going to do with our stuff while we're traveling. And so it'll be stored, locked with our lock. And if we decide, say we go to Spain to visit family, we come back, we can go into the pod, get something that we need out of there, lock it back up. So we just need to let them know ahead of time, hey, we're coming, we want to get into our pod. And because I think they store them kind of like stacked so they could bring it down for you. So that's really nice to know that, and no extra cost to do that. And then I could have it shipped anywhere in this country. Well, probably in the world, but I'm not sure about that. I didn't think about that. I should ask. Not that I'm moving out of the country, but it's probably a good question for those of you who might be in the military. That's a good question. If any of you are in the military and you've used a pod or something similar, a different company, comment below and let me know what company you have used and how you like them. So it's good to know when you hear somebody else. That's why I love like Yelp reviews or any kind of reviews, because now we can find out, is it a good company or not. So it's good to know that we'll know, where our stuff is. It'll be somewhere in Tampa, and they'll be able to ship it to, in case we decide to go to, I don't know, Oregon or Washington or Kansas. I can have it shipped anywhere I want and when I want. I just need to let them know ahead of time. So that's just like a load off my shoulders, knowing that won't be a difficult situation. And I like the fact that when they bring the pod, that we could put the stuff in there in our own time. We could take all week or a couple weeks or however long it takes. But we're the kind of people who like to get stuff done in a couple of days and then let them take it. I don't like dragging things out any longer than I have to. So I really do hope this helps those of you who are moving, especially across states or the country. But even if you're moving in your own area, it might be also helpful to you. Those of you who just want to have someone move you, that in your own little area, that's great too. Because when we were in Sarasota and we moved to this house here, we actually hired someone to move our stuff for us because the kids were still kind of little, and I couldn't help Rick move our things. So it was real, I thought, inexpensive, a couple $100, and they just packed everything perfectly. And well, I had everything packed in boxes, but they moved our furniture, got it on the truck, they drove down here to our house, put everything where I wanted it in the house, and that was it. It was for a couple $100 you can't beat it. And so if you got a bad back and you're only in your own area and you don't want to be moving yourself, just find a local mover, check Yelp. You'll get reviews and you'll know if they're good or not. And that's, I think, another great way to move your items. I hope this video has helped you. If you're going to be moving, thumbs up if you like, share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.